Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing out there today?
Fantastic.
Welcome to Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. We're at 2653 South Taylor Road in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. And we are here having a wonderful time. My name is Jerry Lawson, and I will be your practitioner today. Our monthly theme is My Passion, My Purpose. And the weekly topic title is Awakening to Your Passion. We all have within us a beautiful quality of joy and energy that makes us unique in the world. We were born with it, and as we discover our childlike enthusiasm for life, we reveal our God-given passion. This one life is exactly ours to do, and to do so less than wholeheartedly deprives the world of our best offerings. I just want to give Gilbert Zachary a nice round of applause for bringing us in while he's over there tickling the keys. And if you would, I would just ask you to relax as I give the invocation. Infinite Spirit, in whom we live, move, and have our being, I acknowledge the presence and power of God, and just know that this presence and power is in and through Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. It's in and through each and every person that has anything to do with this program. And after this program, our musician, Gilbert Zachary, our Zoom technician, Christopher Harris, our practitioners, myself, Jerry Lawson, Fran Daniels, Lynette Horn. And I know that our minister is going to be giving us our service today, Reverend June Clark, is also blessed. And I just give thanks for this time that we have as you can join me in saying, and so it is,
And so it is.
and so we let it be. Amen and amen. And welcome again. Welcome to this house of God. Our affirmation today is, I am an individual creation of life, born with passion. Now, if you would, can you say that with me? I am an individual creation of life, born with passion. Let's do that one more time, and do it with a little feeling this time. I am an individual creator of life, born with passion. And I was watching all you Zoom folks out there. Some of you weren't saying anything. Our monthly thing. This month, as we explore passion and purpose, we begin by encouraging people to identify their hidden, buried, or unexamined passions. Week 2 delves into the first finding, then cultivating the connection between passion and purpose. Week 3 recognizes the challenges of being human in a culture and world that often judges mistakes or imperfections negatively. We explore how to foster more self-acceptance. Finally, Week 4 invites us to boldly step into our passions and purpose, bringing them into the world to shine our light as we live it out loud. Wow. Today's topic. Some people are not aware of their passion and dismiss the concept, believing they don't even have one, that they don't even one. They don't have even one. I got it. Okay. Perhaps the word passion has become too obscure and elusive. One way to awaken our passion or discover it is to substitute the word joy. What brought you joy as a child? Uncovering this can reveal something more profound. Now, from the science of mind point of view, we are all unique expressions of the one mind. Let me say that again. We are all unique expressions of the one mind. We were born with qualities that enhance and expand spirit by means of our individual lives. Within each person is a divine spark waiting to be realized and ignited by our awareness of it. Ernest Holmes states that this is the great I am, without which we could not be. This reveals within us the consciousness knowing that we are connected and inspired by universal consciousness. And now, there is a message here. Join the Board of Trustees as MCSL holds a special event. It's new, it's exciting, happening in 6 weeks. More news each week. And Reverend June, do we have a reader? Reader? Do we have a reader? Later, okay. Well, are you ready to take? Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a spiffy morning this morning. You got to be ready for me this morning. God ain't through with me yet. This song that I'm going to have Chris play, I had gone to sleep. I was in my cups, but I wasn't, because I know what that means. But I was sound asleep, and I got a message, and this song started playing. And it does fit for this whole month. It fits for our lives. I can't remember, things get blurred sometimes, whether I sang this here with our choir. I know I sang it in Riverside, California, with the choir there. And so we're going to play this song, not all of it, parts of it here, parts of it in another part of the service. But I think it's an anthem for how we live as religious scientists. And if we don't, we kind of sort of should think about it. So Chris, he's going to adjust it here and there for us, so here we are. Anybody remember that besides me? Yes. Order my steps. And it was, I know if I have spiritual experiences, we all have them. And that was so strong in the message when that awakened me. And then I went and found it, and it blesses us today. And it is it's a truth. It's a what do we say, principle. Could add it to our science of mind principles. It's a way to live. It's a way to be. And as Jerry read this morning, the message looks a little strange, but we got to start. We got to start, because 6 weeks from now, we're going to have this wonderful, wonderful event. And I decided, why not start today? And actually, it has started probably about 2 to 3 weeks ago, just getting the outlines going and few people here in alignment with this and alignment with that. And I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about what's happening. So every week there'll be some more information, and especially we're hoping to have some in-hand physical flyers, printed material, etc., that we can explain to you and that we will be going forward on. So let's start with what I have here, these 3 reference points. My passion, my purpose. I actually looked up passion in the concordance here in the book, and I didn't find it. And I thought that was very interesting because I believe, as it is tied here, that your passion and your purpose, when they're in alignment, that is when, for me, that's when I'm pushed or thrown up in the air and have to come down on my feet and start moving, have to be in balance, I have to start moving forward. But sometimes my passion tends to be the last thing that I do for me. It tends to be what other people just kind of push a button and it's way down there on my list of priorities. But since you asked me to do that, I guess I'll come along and I'll be of assistance. And then it becomes my passion because it's somebody else's passion, and my passion gets pretty much pushed down. So the same with my purpose. I'm going to do that this week. And then Sunday comes and, well, you know, I've got to go to church, and then someone asked me to do this after church, and somebody asked me to do that after church. And I look at my purpose for what I had set to do on that particular day, and that too pretty much gets slotted down and then slotted down some more. So I find, maybe you find it to be different, that others' passions and others' purpose tends to tweak or push what I had planned to do. And actually, it turns out to be, maybe you look back and, oh my goodness, it's been 2 weeks ago. You know, that was last year I was going to do that. You know what? When I think about it, so-and-so called and reminded me, I haven't done that yet, and it's been 5 years. How about you? I mean, our passion and purpose, 2 P's, our passion and our purpose almost came out. That's the truth about that, too. But moving us forward, and then when that song, when I played it and I was reminded of the words, and if you get it on the YouTube and you play it, I would suggest that the first time you play it full volume, as loud as you can, because the energy coming from that song, and it really almost doesn't matter, maybe your preference is as to which group you like singing it, because it's the words and it's the feeling. And I can still remember just getting into that, you know, that swing with the choir and the feelings. Follow my steps, and then when it stops and it goes slow, and you get that jump and that energy, and the whole group is in that purpose and in that passion together. So I suggest if you turn it on and you listen to it as loud as you can the first time. It's loud. the lady that does the lead part, she can do the lead part, I tell you, because she's got a beautiful, I guess it's soprano, first soprano, maybe top soprano, I don't know how you want to say it, but she can bring those words to you with such clarity and awesomeness. So enough about the song, but try it. Look it up, listen to it, feel it. Keep it in mind for this next 6 weeks of our journey toward something not totally new, but different and advantageous for us as a society, as a church, as a group, as Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. So to today's topic, my passion, my purpose. When your energy flows, your vibration is raised. And that's what I'm addressing when I talk about this song, is if you can listen to it without, I'll just say without judgment. Without judgment, because I speak about myself. The first time I heard it, I said to self, ooh, I really don't like when people get that loud when they're singing. And then as the song went on, the tone came down and it quieted, and then they got into the energy part, and I got to moving, and then there's another part at the end where you think she's loud at the beginning, she's really loud toward the end. And by that time, I was vibrating. I was getting it. I was feeling it. So when your energy flows, your vibration is raised. Thank goodness. Because there'd be a lot of times if my phone didn't ring and kind of wake me up out of that deserved splendor of sleep, and it's already, I'll just say 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I could add another hour onto that sometime. But sometimes we just need to be awakened because we sink into that. It's good. Sleep's good. Shutting stuff out is good. It's good. But you also need that vibration to get you up and going in a different direction. From this quote, these quotes here, the best you've ever felt is a result of this upliftment as the force moves through you with an unparalleled strength. Unparalleled strength. And thank God that recently, and I say recently within several years, maybe even more than several years, I haven't been forced to move out of, oh God, ain't it awful. I am so blessed that when I am energized, it is because one might say, well, that's awfully silly, or that's not anything, but it's good stuff. I'm not confined to old junk. I'm not confined to feeling sorry for myself to be moved and uplifted. I am so happy. I am so in charge of who I am. And that was not always the truth. So the energy and being energized is so awesome and so wonderful and so thankful to, that's not an appropriate sentence, but it's so thankful to have it and to get it and to know that you are in a state of upliftment instead of, what was them? My mother and father had some old expressions. What are you down in the mouth about? You know, what? And I'd roll my eyes and keep going because I was told I couldn't go somewhere, something that extreme in my life at that time. And then as I lived life a bit more, there were some things beyond just not being able to go somewhere because mom and daddy said I couldn't, to some really difficult aspects of life. That's not the truth anymore. And it's okay to have serious stuff in your life. But it's how do you use that, and how does the upliftment of who you are support you in bringing you forth to your passion and your purpose. This upliftment is so, so wonderful. And that quote that I read there, when your energy flows, your vibration is raised. The best you've ever felt is a result of this upliftment as the force moves through you with an unparalleled strength. That's from Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, who is one of the ministers in San Diego area who was at Seaside Church where Reverend Leora and I went to ministerial school. Brilliant minister in our religious science. So I looked at a page 100 in the Science of Mind textbook, and in the second paragraph I found a reference. It's the first full paragraph here. We have learned that spirit is the absolute being, that it is the only thing in the universe which has self-knowingness. Do you have self-knowingness? Not our beloved folk around us, not those who love us, not those who think they know us that really don't know us, so therefore they don't love us. But are you in a state of self-knowingness, volition, choice, or will? Are you able to shift from whatever it is that becomes, I don't want to use negative words, but there's stuff that becomes a burden. There's stuff that becomes harder to deal with than some other things. If you are in a state of self-knowingness, volition, which means to get up and move and do and go, choice or will, that's what moves us into this wonderful state of having a life that is lived and guided by the principles of science of mind. It's who we are. The soul is the servant of the spirit and has no choice and no purpose other than to execute the purpose given it. If you say my life is like the inside of the trash can, how do you think it got there? Just a reminder. If it is, life is a bed of roses. Roses, the head on a rose is beautiful, usually smells good, has a stem, and on that stem there are those crazy little thorns. And if you don't get them from a florist that has the kindness to cut them all out, you're going to get stuck. If you buy them and they have thorns, 9 times out of 9, you're going to get stuck. And again, it goes back to the soul is the servant of the spirit and has no choice and no purpose other than to execute the purpose given it. We're not going to sit around or stand around and grab a bunch of stems of a rose that has thorns on. I don't think so. Thorns on it and hold it and squeeze it. Well, maybe you do. If you do and that makes you happy, what am I to say? The spirit of the universe cannot change, being all, and all is in capital letters. There is nothing for it to change into. The soul of the universe must obey the will, which is capitalized, of the spirit. The body of the universe cannot help changing. Thank goodness, thank goodness, thank goodness. Change. This is what constitutes the eternal activity of spirit within itself. Do you know yourself? Do you know the prize, the glory, the love, the harmony, the joy, the prosperity, the intelligence that you are, that you have innate within you? It's just there. The spirit passing into form, creation eternally going on. We're a work in progress, like I said. And if you're not, start reading something. Start not just reading it, but evaluating it. Start listening. I was listening on my way to church here, the radio station that plays religious music. And the word surrender was within the song. And then I said, oh my goodness, that's wonderful for today's service. But then I decided I'll just say the word surrender because I haven't really delved into it. But it's a wonderful word. Surrender to what? Your self-knowingness, your internal alarm clock, your internal purpose, your internal creativity. Surrender, and that song will come to your mind. Order my steps in your word, dear Lord. It's that simple. Spirit must be manifest in order to be conscious. There must be a way in which God manifests, and there must be a manifestation. So we have soul and body, the manifestation, and soul, the way or law by which it manifests. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. You have passion, you have purpose. So what if you didn't do it 50 years ago? And if you're not quite that old, so what if you didn't do it a year ago? So what if you didn't do it the last time somebody asked you about something? Time is on our side. Always time to reveal your own passion and your own purpose. The next set of quotes here. Life will be to you what you are to it. Somehow you must link your will, your thought, your intellect, your imagination, and your feeling with the divine presence which is already there. It's not like I'm going to wear that odd-colored maroon dress, but all my shoes just clash. So I've got to go out to the store and buy those shoes that I saw a couple of weeks ago that are the same color. I've got to go and buy that. You don't have to go buy anything. Just breathe. I have a wonderful bathtub that is sunken. All bathtubs have a dip, obviously, so that you can sit down in them. Even you gentlemen, Try it. I don't know, maybe you do. Fill it up with bubble bath, warm water. Just slide on down and just relax and surrender to your purpose, to your passion. We ladies sometimes do that quite often. I don't know. I should not be quoting that men don't, because there's not a man that comes and sits in my bathtub right now. But who knows? Who knows? So that quote was from Ernest Holmes, This Thing Called You, on page 25. So let me see, did I skip one? My creativity. I skipped my creativity. My creativity is amazing. It renews and recreates my whole experience. When I make an error, we'll just take writing a check, for example, a real simple thing. If you're writing a check and you write the word, you write the amount on there, and the digits are, say, a 9, and what you wrote was a 0. You can be very creative. You can go to the top of the 0 and you can go over it and over it and over it till it's dark. You can come down that back line and you can make it real straight. And you are so creative that now it looks like a 9. Isn't life that simple? Yes, it is. I am a new person with a fresh mind living in an interesting world. That's from Raymond Charles Barker, The Power of Decision, on page 140. And Dr. Charles Barker was a great influencer of Ernest Holmes. So my passion, my purpose, I'm not good at that. Oh, I won't even try that. Oh, join the choir? Are you kidding? I can't even sing in the shower. You know what? A choir is a group of people. Your little one off-key voice can be trained to be a little quieter so that when the choir director says, everybody sing, and you sing a couple times, and you get the feel for how it's going, and you get a note that's given to you, and then the next time you sing, and the choir director looks over at you and smiles. Because you have been creative enough to realize, I can shift that. I can adjust that. And all these are just simple, anecdotal lessons to look at in your life. What seems so huge, like the mole and the mountain and the molehill and all that kind of comparison, and the mustard seed to the oak seed, and one's big and one's small, and honestly, my life's a mountain and a molehill. It's an acorn and a mustard seed 24/7. And I think yours is too. And I'm not saying that there's catastrophe after catastrophe compared to peace and calm. It's all peace and calm. It's all God. But my passion and my purpose is to live as simply, as prosperously, which I don't think is a word, as lovingly, as honorable within myself. There's other comparisons that you can make. And that is one of the easiest, I think it is the easiest thing that you could do for yourself, and that's to do you. Your passion, your purpose, your life, your joy, your givingness, your awareness, your, I'm not going to sit here and do nothing about this. That's okay too. But that's agreement between yourself, your human self, and your God self. And you might say, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I've turned it over to God. But you haven't. That's just hooey. That's words. If you are following your passion, following your purpose as a Christian, the word sanctified came up. But, I don't want to mix anything up that sounds like I'm trying to compare anybody's religious belief to anybody else's. But whatever gets you into a state of passionate purpose and it works for you, that's what you do. As I suggested, this song, listening to it, you may listen to it and you may say, I don't know what in the world she got out of that song. That's okay. I'll still get out of it what I get out of it. Something else may open the roads for you without any thorns. Find it. Find your passion. Find your purpose. And don't let it be judged by someone else. Because if they're busy judging yours, they're not looking at their own. So consider your own self, your own selfhood, your own what you want to do. And as the song says, let the good times roll. Consider yourself to be the most important aspect of life. And then you can share your joy, your peace, your harmony, your love, your abundance, because it's your purpose and your passion. And on 163, second paragraph in the Science of Mind, and it's the mental and spiritual treatment aspect of the book here. The second point, second paragraph, a treatment should be given in a calm, expectant manner and with a deep inner conviction of its reality, without any fear or any sense that the human mind must make it effective. Get that out of your mind. Pray without ceasing. Pray without, I guess I would say, judgment. Pray without criticism. Just do it. The work is effective because the law is always in operation. It's not us. It's not this humanness that's getting the point across. There's no point to get across. There's a belief. There's a purpose. There's a passion within the words you are stating and the firm belief in what you are saying, which is your truth. Now, your truth may change. Does that make the prior treatment inaccurate? No. Whatever it is at that divine moment is accurate, or you should not say it. But if you don't know any better, you say what you believe, and as God reveals itself, you may think back and decide, I'm going to look at that differently. And that's okay. That's what awareness and coming to the truth and listening to the steps that are being ordered is. And on page 428 in the textbook, all of these are references in the textbook today, it says, second here. Okay. 1 and 2, paragraphs 1 and 2. In the midst of this drama of human existence, Jesus declared that the meek shall inherit the earth. Let us inquire if his teaching is a true one. Do we teach our children to follow the steps of a Caesar and a Napoleon? Or do we tell them the story of Jesus or Buddha? The cross is mightier than the crown, and we teach our children that. This is all in capital letters. Love masters everything, with exclamation mark. The meek shall inherit the earth. To whom have our artists turned for inspiration and that quickening power which enables them to depict the idea? You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be able to draw. Artist to me means painter, drawer, whatever. This sentence, turn within to depict the idea, to depict the ideal. Just turn within, and that's where God is. Not the warlords, nor even the captains of industry, but to the meek. Whatever characteristics are set before us as we being worthy. No, I read that wrong. What characteristics are set before us as being worthy? What do we have to follow? What do we have to do? We set our own selves up on this point. Have not faith and believe in the divine goodness, goodness is capitalized, been the theme of our greatest singers, who could write a beautiful story about hell, but heaven and love have inspired thousands to the uplifting of humanity. Jesus was right when he said that the meek shall inherit the earth, and this is in italics. They have done so and will continue to do so. That's on page 428, the first full and the first second paragraph, if you want to reread that and rethink that. So I'm going to have Chris play some more of Order My Steps, and then our reader's going to come up. When we find ourselves in a difficult situation, instead of becoming confused or fearful, let us stop for a moment. Get away from the argument which tells us that we do not know what to do, and begin to affirm there is a presence and power and intelligence within me that does know. The spirit within me is God, the infinite intelligence, the universal mind, the divine and perfect and complete wholeness. It knows, and it knows in me, and it does now guide and guard and control me. I'll read that last paragraph. Would you read the whole thing for me? The whole thing. When we find ourselves in a difficult situation, instead of becoming confused or fearful, let us stop for a moment and get away from the argument which tells us that we do not know what to do, and begin to affirm there is a presence and power and intelligence within me that does know. The spirit within me is God, the infinite intelligence, the universal mind, the divine and perfect and complete wholeness. It knows, and it knows in me, and it does now guide and guard and control me. From Keys to Wisdom, Ernest Holmes, page 18. And so it is. So it is. Thank you. Thank you, Laverne. You will not find that quote. I think it's just an awesome quote. It is part of the book that Reverend Leora shared with us that we are doing on Thursday afternoons, and it comes paragraph by paragraph. And if you can imagine the time that we spent going over just this one particular paragraph from the book, we just dialogue and take in and feel all that is expressed in the words. So, moving on, and that's one of the things I suggest you cut out and hang up somewhere in your house. So on the call to action here, let me explain this. It's going to be a bit bigger. It's something that I found that I felt explains and represents what we're going to be doing in the next 6 weeks when we have our special project that we're going to be doing. And the first word on the top is purpose. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I have no purpose whatsoever about what I do. I think I've said from the pulpit before, I'm a jumper. And I have many books sitting on my shelf that I bought because I went to a workshop and, oh, that sounds so good and that sounds so wonderful. And I run home and I get on the computer and I buy it. It comes in the mail. I open it and uncover it and put it on my shelf. And that's a good example of sometimes doing and being, moving forward, there's no purpose. There's no purpose. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it oblivious to what else is going on in my life. And there's a lot of things like that. And here, I don't know, another God message, I guess it was, of getting an awareness of a possibility of financial abundance, a possibility of furthering a creative mind, a possibility of coming together with a purpose in mind and building something like this 3 focused pattern here. Start with a purpose. And if you start with a purpose that you love, you're going to embrace it. For me, I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to feed it. I'm going to groom it. I'm going to allow it to have a life of its own. I'm going to step back and step out of the way. And I'm not going to need for my influence or my, what shall we say, my control in that purpose. I'm going to allow for those around me to move into the love of that purpose, to move into the feeling and the essence and the truth and the viability and the wonderment of that purpose. So that's what is starting today. And it has already started, but it's starting to give you information about something that I have set in my personal growth. I like to choose numbers. Somebody asks how old I am. Well, today it's 5 years, kind of mentally in a state of a 5-year-old. But the maturity, the purposefulness of my life right now is centered in this purpose. And this purpose is Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. And as we go through this, the next couple of weeks, you'll have even more information about it. So my purpose is your purpose too, if you choose. And I think you will choose. And then, let's see, this is small. What does it say? Then it comes into people. See, I'm already there. I don't think there are many things, maybe sleeping, that you do by yourself that benefits you. And if you snore and you don't snore, then it helps the person that's sleeping next to you that you don't snore. But that's kind of silly. I do believe that people have very, very similar purpose-minded aspects of their life. And not only based on things like politics and what religion you choose to follow, but I believe based on a purpose, spiritual, loving, given life. That is what we each have within us, and that is how we live, and that is what we do, and that is what we encompass. And from the primary purpose, it moves down to the people. So it takes some time, it takes a lot of people in order for the primary purpose to be completed, to be achieved. So that's coming on down to the people. And then it goes over, and that one happens to be in green, to the profit. We're a nonprofit. We're not here to make money, but we thrive on the systems of the universe. And in order for us to use our purpose of expanding the awareness of truth and love and peace and harmony in this life, we must have what everybody else uses, a commodity that is called money. So this is our little triune of spirit representation here. And we'll talk about it more and more each week. And with that, I just bless you today for being here. Started out with 3 people in the sanctuary. Now we just have a wonderful group of people here. I don't ever know who's on Zoom, but hello y'all on Zoom. And it's time for our Science of Mind treatment. So last week, Jerry was not here. He was in California with us truly on his mind. And I realized when I stood up that I was the only practitioner supporting Fran. And then I said, no, I'm the licensed practitioner. Jerry is supporting us. He's a licensed practitioner. Lynette is supporting us. She's a licensed practitioner. Reverend Teresa is supporting us. She's a licensed practitioner. Reverend Leora is supporting us. She's a licensed practitioner. Reverend Beverly Branham is my friend, is on quite often. She's a licensed practitioner. And we each are licensed practitioners in our heart or because you've gone to school to do it. And you all know the difference. So we're all practitioners. So with this treatment, just go within your practitioner heart and know the truth, know the purpose, know the awareness, know the givingness of God, the power of purpose in your heart and in your mind this day. And as you know it this day, it will become who you are and therefore will be a part of your life forever. And in the recognition of God, simply knowing that God is all there is. God is busy ordering our steps. We want to walk worthy. We want to be the divine expression of God out in the world, and we are. We are the recognition that God exists. It exists within us, as every being on this planet, for God is all there is. You can speak directly to God, out loud, written down, singing, dancing, simply with every breath that you take, praising the infinite within. Lead me, guide me in all that I do. Be that perfect emanation of God. It is so simple, so beautiful, so worthy. And we are worthy of who we are. Share it. Give it away. Recognize it in everything you see. Recognize it in everything you do. The power of God is you. Accepting this as our truth, we must ask for our divine awareness of what it is that we appreciate, what it is that we want, what it is that we are, and know that it is given to us by the Father, through us. And then we give thanks. We cannot accept all this beauty of life and joy and purpose without giving thanks. And as we give thanks, more and more and more is given unto us. It's a simple truth. Remember those in your heart who may need physical healing. There are many, many within this room, this individualized room, who are in need of prayer for health. There are those of us who know family, who know friends, who know life, and know that we give thanks for all the loving support of God that is given to them. And I give thanks for all of this day and beyond. It's so simple, it's so easy. We are so blessed. And as we walk in our way, we listen to the Lord, let us simply affirm, and so it is. Amen and amen. So Jerry, I'll turn it over to you.
Let's give Reverend June a round of applause. That wonderful, wonderful message. And I love that song. We used to sing it quite a bit. What are my steps? Know that God is ordering our steps in this day. Now we'll just do our benediction as we finish off this sermon for this Sunday. We just give thanks for this time that we've had together. Mother, Father God, we know that we are blessed as we go into our next week and the rest of our lives. We know that all that we need is there for us, just the way it's been given to us on this day. And we just recognize and give thanks for this wonderful message that we've had today. And just know that God is with us. And if you're in agreement with this, please say with me, and so it is, and so I let it be. Amen and amen. And I just want to give you the announcements. We're still working on the 3 Ps, prayer, purpose, and progress. And I want to thank you for your continued support. for your contributions and for sharing our vision as we move forward in accomplishing goals with the Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. The discussion on Thursdays is still going on of Keys to Wisdom. And it's Thursdays on 1:30 to 2:30. And there's a Zoom link on the program here. It's way too long for me to read it. So those of you out in Zoom land who've got your links, this is the link for the Thursday session. In our special event that's coming up on September the 17th, we're raffling off at the African Bronze Maasai woman figurine to support our efforts in fundraising for our church, and it ends on Sunday, September 17th. So you've got plenty of time to get your monies in. Each person is asked to buy at least 3 tickets, and the tickets are only $5 a ticket. So you can go over to the church office on your way out, and purchase, your 5, 6, 7, 10 tickets if you want. And I know Fran's got 100 she's going to buy and resell. And don't forget, we still have our podcast out there. We're working on a website, so we've dropped off a little bit on the podcast, but we still have the ones out there that you can get to on any place where you get your regular podcasts. And that is it for today.
Our other event will be the 16th.
Pardon me?
September. Our big event is coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it on the program here, so.
It'll be on next week.
Okay. We have a fashion show that's coming up on September the 16th. So be prepared to come here and just have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. That is a Saturday. So if we would, this concludes today's service. We're going to circle up and do the peace song, and then we'll just travel along to our ways. Thank you, and so it is. Amen.